Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use, tips a balance in favor of fair use. Okay, you guys, this is from abuseguardian.com. This is from a law firm. Because we believe you. Prophet leaders of extreme New Mexico sect charged with child sex abuse. Alongside several members, the two leaders of an extreme Christian sect based in New Mexico have been arrested on charges of kidnapping, child abuse, and child sexual abuse. Deborah and James Green are being held on a $500,000 bond for their role in what experts call a destructive cult, the Associated Press reports. Sounds like the Children of God cult. From free love to aggressive Christianity, inflecting their ministry with a hierarchy borrowed from the military. Deborah and James Green built a commune in Sacramento, California, eventually drawing around 50 members to the 4 communal living residences that made up Free Love Ministries. It's always the same thing with these sickos. Things went south both literally and figuratively after a former member, Mara Alana Shimir, sued the organization, saying she had been locked in a shed against her will. False imprisonment, just like the Scientology children. And made to relinquish the parental rights. Okay, so this is a parent. To 3 of her children. You guys think this is not going on in Scientology? I've been thinking this for the longest. Shamir was awarded over $1 million in compensation, but the Greens, along with their followers, fled California, eventually turning up again in New Mexico. Our alliance has over 15 sexual abuse lawyers nationwide dedicated to helping survivors get justice. I'll believe that when I see it. Honestly, you guys, I take these with a grain of salt. We saw what happened with Brian Kent. I think some of them are handlers. Guy DeAndrea-esque. Now I'm just saying what my opinion is. Modeled after military sect, finds home in New Mexico. There, the spiritual leaders founded the Aggressive Christianity Mission Training Corps, an offshoot of Free Love Ministries, occasionally referred to as Shimna Ra, Holy Tribal Nation of the Life Force Team. The couple took on military-style pseudonyms. James is referred to as General Jim. Deborah is General Deborah. There are brigadier generals, including James Green, seen in this YouTube video, railing against the inequities of Christian rock music. Commanders and cabinet secretaries, all led by the 2 generals who in 1979 began receiving prophetic messages from God. It's amazing how they're all the same. They all get these messages from God or who is it? Xenu. For more information, visit abuseguardian.com, sexual assault lawyer, New Mexico. Loosely based on the organizational structure employed by the Salvation Army. Guys should look into their history. The Aggressive Christianity Mission Training Corps, often described as a cult, believes that the human race is speeding toward a final showdown between good and evil, a battle only aggressive Christianity members will have the good grace to survive, of course. Prophets of God accused of child abuse. A summary of the group's founding reads like a propaganda pamphlet. From North Korea, replete with torturous repetitions. In 1979, James and Deborah Green entered the prayer closet and God was there, speaking to them, prophetically. He made it clear that he was raising up an army. His spirit army, true. There had been other armies claiming the Lord's name. But this was something new. It was by the prophetic word of the Lord that the aggressive vision came to be. Believing what God had said, the generals took it to heart and began to give their lives so they could live their lives to fulfill the vision. True to his word, after many years of seeking and sacrifice, determination and hard work, God has brought into existence an army. And that's just the beginning. Over the years, God has expanded and embellished the vision, bringing others into the revelation as well, until today, God's holy tribal nation shines like a beacon. Beacon. Didn't George Bush Sr. talk about a beacon? You guys should know. It's code, you guys. On a high mountain, lifting others up and calling people around the world to give their lives in his service. It's amazing how humans always have to give their lives, don't they? His army, an army of fearless, obedient disciples. The army that sheds no blood. This is how the aggressive vision came to be. The word of the Lord shall never fail. In reality, the aggressive Christianity Mission Training Corps practices prosecutors say was far from bloodless. Prosecutors group enslaved, abused kids without mercy. It's always the children, isn't it? Numerous missives containing virulent anti-Semitism and anti-gay screeds are freely available on the group's website. But the aggressive Christianity Mission Training Corps members aren't being prosecuted for their extreme beliefs. When 13-year-old Enoch Miller died, likely due to an untreated infectious disease, the Cibola County Sheriff's Office began to investigate the group's Fence Lake compound. LAPD, listen to that. You see, Cibola County Sheriffs, they actually investigate behind the Constantine wires. Their investigations revealed a series of troubling allegations from former members. Whipped and RAPED from the age of 7. The age of 7. Send those men up here, see what's going to happen to them. The Greens and other members of this ministry treated young children as slaves. Kind of like children are adults in small bodies. Kind of like that. Former members say, beating adolescents and forcing them to work. To work. Several ex-followers claim to have been sexually abused. That means when they were children. Including one woman who says she was AR'd 4 times a week, just like children of God. Beginning at the age of 7, by Deborah Green and her son-in-law, the aforementioned Peter Green. You imagine if you sent these perpetrators on children down the streets of your local cities or towns. Wonder what would happen to them. The woman was smuggled from Uganda as a young child and quickly became Deborah Green's personal slave. NBC News writes she was whipped bloody for the most minor of infractions with the equivalent of cat o' nine tails. Members were told they had to be hard on the children to raise them up to be Christian soldiers. Maura Shimir said in an interview with NBC. Leaders members arrested while attempting to smuggle children from compound. What's the difference between this and the Scientology buses? Driven by fears of child abuse, including reports of outrageous sexual misconduct, from former members. Oh no, it's not just sexual misconduct. These are crimes written into law. raping a child, that's a crime. Law enforcement officials raided the compound, eventually arresting the Greens and 4 other members, who were found attempting to smuggle 11 children out of the area. I think LAPD needs to take some notes from Kippawa County Sheriff's Office. Criminal charges. Those followers have now been charged for failing to obtain birth certificates for their children. Didn't I talk about this? You guys? Where they don't have birth certificates? The children don't come on the radar when there's no birth certificate. Criminal prosecutor says Deborah discouraged her followers from getting birth certificates. Yeah, they're off the radar. In an attempt to hide the children, from New Mexico authorities. As for Deborah and James Green, both prophets, face 18 criminal charges apiece. That's symbolic, including kidnapping and child abuse. Peter Green has been charged with 100 counts of criminal sexual P of a child. A series of new charges were recently added in which prosecutors accused the Greens of participating in the scheme to hide children and tamper with evidence. Scientology does this every day. You know what they get? They get rewarded from the city officials and the LAPD. All of the arrested members have pleaded not guilty. Of course they did. Deborah and James Green insist the Associated Press writes that they've done nothing wrong. Deny. So I'll leave the link in the description box. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night wherever you are. Peace.